the top 10 things that men just do not want to hear. It's going to be a good one.
It is always fascinating to kind of explore the nuances of communication in relationships. And even little seemingly simple phrases can have a huge impact.
Yeah. It can be a little bit of a minefield out there, right?
It can definitely feel that way.
So let's jump right into it. The first one on your list is, and I am ready for this one, you're just like your father. Like, come on.
You know, I was expecting that one to be on there.
Of course. Like, who hasn't heard that one? But what is it about that phrase that just hits a nerve?
Well, I think it really taps into that primal fear almost of, becoming someone that we might not admire,
Right.
repeating some kind of negative patterns.
Right.
Especially if the relationship with the father is, complex. It can just trigger all sorts of baggage.
Yeah.
It's almost like saying, hey, I see your future, and it looks just like the guy you're trying so hard to be different from.
Yeah. And it's not even really about the dad, right?
Right.
It's about being trapped by somebody else's definition of who you are.
Exactly.
So how do we navigate that? What's a better way to approach those moments when you see a behavior that maybe reminds you of dear old dad?
I think specificity is key here. So instead of that sweeping generalization, try, hey, when you do this specific behavior, it makes me feel this way. Could we try this instead?
Okay.
So it's about addressing the action, not making it about lineage or like this inherent characteristic.
Right. So it's like when you interrupt me, I feel disrespected. I would appreciate it if we could both take turns speaking.
Much better.
Much better than you're just as rude as your father.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's move on to number 2. This one's a classic. Why can't you be more like, and then insert name here?
Ooh, that one is brutal.
It's like the comparison game. No one wins. Whether it's a friend or, that guy from work who just always seems to have it together, it's never going to end well.
It's like the ultimate demotivator. Imagine someone constantly telling you, Jeff from accounting, he always remembers to bring snacks to the meeting. Why can't you be more like Jeff?
I would instantly hate Jeff.
Exactly.
And I don't even know him.
Right.
But seriously, it's about feeling inadequate. It's like you're constantly falling short of some impossible standard.
Right.
So how do we flip the script? How do we express what we need without resorting to the comparison trap?
Yeah, instead of focusing on who he's not, try talking about the qualities that you admire and why they matter to you. So you can say something like, I really appreciate how thoughtful Mark is with his partner. It would be amazing if we could plan more date nights like that too.
Okay, so it's about expressing your needs and desires in a positive way without putting them down in the process.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
All right, number 3, you're overreacting. Oh boy, I've been on the receiving end of that one and it never feels good.
Yeah, that one is like a conversational brick wall.
Yeah.
It instantly invalidates the other person's feelings and shuts down any chance of really having a meaningful dialogue.
Right.
Because instead of trying to understand where they're coming from, you're basically telling them that their emotions are wrong.
Right, it's like saying calm down. You're being irrational,
Yeah.
which, let's be honest, is never going to make someone calm down.
Right.
So what's a better way to handle those situations where, maybe someone's reaction does seem a little bit intense?
I think in those moments, try this. I see that you're really upset, and I want to understand why. Can you help me see things from your perspective?
Okay.
It shows empathy. It shows a willingness to listen, even if you don't fully agree.
Right, it's about acknowledging their feelings, even if you don't understand them yet.
Exactly.
Okay, next up. I'm not in the mood. Look,
Yeah.
I get it. Everyone has the right to say no, but I can see how this one could become a problem in a relationship.
Yeah, it's all about context and communication. If it's a constant refrain with no explanation or effort to connect in other ways, it can create a lot of distance and insecurity.
Right. It's like, okay, I get it. You're tired tonight.
Right.
But if it's every night and there's no attempt to cuddle or talk or just be close,
Yeah.
then it starts to feel like rejection.
Exactly. So instead of just shutting it down, try something like, I'm really exhausted tonight, but I'd love to cuddle up and watch a movie with you. You're showing that you care. You're still invested in intimacy, even if it's not sexual intimacy.
Okay, that's a great tip. Moving on to number 5. You're not good enough.
Yeah.
This one's just plain harsh.
This is one of those phrases that can leave lasting scars,
Yeah.
because it attacks someone's core sense of worth and can undermine their confidence in all areas of life.
Yeah, it's like saying you're fundamentally flawed as a person. Like
Right.
there's no coming back from that. So is there ever a situation where this kind of blanket statement is justified?
I would say never. If you have concerns, address specific behaviors, not the person's overall worth. So instead of you're not good enough, I feel hurt when you don't follow through on your promises. It makes me feel like you don't value my time.
Right, it's about focusing on the impact of specific actions, not making a judgment on their entire being.
Exactly.
Okay, next up, I don't trust you. This one feels like a real relationship killer.
Yeah, trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship. And when you accuse someone of dishonesty without evidence, it creates this toxic environment of suspicion and resentment.
It's like you're constantly being on edge, wondering what you're going to be accused of next.
Right.
So how do we approach this sensitive topic if we do have genuine concerns about trust?
Well, if you have concrete reasons to question your partner's trustworthiness, address the issue directly and calmly. But again, focus on specific behaviors, not on attacking their character.
Okay.
So, for example, instead of saying, I don't trust you, try, I felt hurt and confused when you didn't tell me about meeting up with your ex. It made me question our communication and boundaries.
Okay, so it's about being specific and expressing how those actions impacted you, rather than making a sweeping judgment about their character.
Exactly.
Got it. Number 7, you've let yourself go. This one feels a little shallow, but I can see how it could sting.
It's definitely a sensitive area, and while physical attraction is important, this phrase focuses solely on appearance, and it can make someone feel deeply insecure and unappreciated.
Yeah.
It's like saying, I only value you for your looks.
Yeah, no one wants to feel like they're only loved for their six-pack.
Right.
So how do we encourage our partners to prioritize their health and well-being without making them feel judged or insecure?
Yeah, instead of criticizing their appearance, try suggesting activities that you can do together that promote health and well-being.
Okay.
Maybe you can join a gym together, start cooking healthier meals, take walks in the park.
Right.
Make it a team effort focused on feeling good, not just looking good.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh.
This next one's a real heartbreaker. I regret marrying you, or I regret dating you. That's gotta hurt.
This statement undermines the entire relationship and communicates a deep sense of regret, and it can leave the other person feeling completely devalued and unloved.
Yeah, it's like saying, I made a mistake choosing you.
Right.
So if someone is genuinely unhappy in a relationship, how do they communicate that without resorting to such a hurtful statement?
I think if you're truly unhappy, it's essential to seek professional help either individually or as a couple.
Okay.
A therapist can help you navigate those difficult emotions and communicate your needs in a healthy, constructive way.
Right. Okay. We're almost there. Number 9. You're bad in bed. Oof.
Yeah.
It's got to be a confidence killer.
Yeah, criticizing someone's sexual performance can be incredibly damaging to their self-esteem and can create all sorts of intimacy issues.
Yeah, it's like saying you're not good enough to please me. Not
Ah.
exactly a recipe for a passionate and fulfilling sex life.
Definitely not. Instead of criticizing, focus on open and honest communication about your desires and preferences. Use I statements to express what you enjoy and what you'd like to explore.
All right. So it's like, I really love it when you do this, and I'd be curious to try this.
Much better.
Much better than just saying you're doing it wrong.
Exactly.
Okay. And finally, number 10. I'm only with you because of the kids, or the money, or the comfort.
Wow.
Talk about adding insult to injury.
Yeah, this one's just brutal because it basically implies that you're not genuinely invested in the relationship and that your partner is simply a means to an end.
Right.
It's a form of emotional manipulation, and it can create a deep sense of insecurity and resentment.
So what's the takeaway here? How can we avoid these communication pitfalls and create a more positive and supportive dynamic in our relationships?
I think it all comes down to empathy and respect before you speak. Consider how your words might make your partner feel.
Right.
Focus on specific behaviors, use I statements to express your feelings, and always strive to create a safe space for open and honest communication.
Absolutely. And remember, communication is a two-way street. It's not just about what you say, but also how you listen and respond. So we've been diving deep into phrases that can hurt. But, think about it. What are some phrases that you absolutely love to hear from your partner? Something to ponder.